Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. Today we are going to present about coping strategies. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Najmuddin Fakhrullah bin Ridwan. Alright, let's get on to intro. What is coping strategies? Coping strategies refers to the specific efforts, both behavioral and psychological, that people employ to master, tolerate, reduce, or minimize stressful events. An additional distinction that is often made in coping literature is between active and avoidant coping strategies. Some of you may ask, why do we need coping strategies? Let me tell you. Coping skills helps you to tolerate, minimize, and deal with stressful situations in life. It is important to establish healthy coping skills that will help you reduce your emotional distress or rid yourself of the stressful situation that you are facing. There are 6 types of coping strategies, which are self-soothing, distraction, opposite action, emotional awareness, mindfulness, and last but not least is crisis plan. What are the best coping technique and why? For me, the best coping technique is guided imagery or imagery technique. Guided imagery is a stress management technique where you use your imagination to picture a person, place, or time that makes you feel relaxed, peaceful, and happy. Imagery is slightly different from other stress management techniques in that it relies on the use of all your senses. There are several different varieties of imagery, which are the visual imagery, auditory imagery, the olfactory imagery, gustatory imagery, and tactile imagery. You might ask, why should you use imagery? It is to help you get the most out of your training, to compete more efficiently. Last but not least, is to speed up your progress on the road to the top.
Okay, from the activity, I choose the imaginary technique because they have many important and many benefit of the function in the imaginary. Why I chose the imaginary technique? We need to know what is imaginary. Imaginary means to use the poetry in language to represent object, action, and idea in such a way that it appears to our physical sight. Usually, it is thought that imaginary make you a particular word that create visual representation or idea in our mind. That's why imaginary is equated with mental picture. Besides that, we can see from this imaginary technique is a better known as a rest of thought. This is because the scientific relation is known as a response. The basic element of meditation are applied in the technique but neglect as spiritual or regular activity. This can be seen in many athletes who practice the basic meditation technique is a preparation or resistance. Yet this technique are able to increase ability to more rest, more fully focus. For the best situation from the imaginary technique, when a person suffer from a depression or want to achieve a motivate, this can say to be because often happen among those who suffer from stress and depression. Such incident can be done by providing encouragement or motivation. For example, this happen we can creating a cognitive entity reduction technique require 4 elements that alike. Firstly, quiet place by ensuring there is not distraction and stimulation or internal stimulation. Secondly, a comfortable position that can be maintained in a short period of time. For example, sitting on a chair but don't lie down on the bed so as not to sleep. Thirdly, we can see from the mental planning is an element of the relation response. This focus on one positive focus that need to be achieved. And the fourth element we can see forming a passive attitude is very important, even if it's difficult to achieve. This can be seen if something that dating into a immigration, like it pass and just has to focus on the positive.
Hello, I'm Siti Ida Jodi. Okay, how to use guided imagery. First, find a quiet place. If possible, find a quiet place. Second, choose your setting. Once you feel relaxed, picture yourself in the most peaceful environment that you can imagine. Third, relax. Okay, now I have one interesting story. Listen carefully. You know what, guys? It was a season of spring, one of my favorite seasons. In the spring, I was walking in the garden and I felt the wavy grass. At the time, I was eating chocolate. The day was precious. I saw blue sky, white clouds, budding leaf and various flowers. I heard the melodious sound of birds. They were singing in harmony in the early morning. Then I smelled in the beautiful fragrance of roses, and I also felt the freshness of the wind against my cheek. I touched flowers. They were soft and lovely. After reading this story, what pictures do you see in your mind when you read this? You probably imagine spring season and wavy grass, a blue sky with white clouds, and also imagine the beautiful sound of birds singing. And then you imagine the beautiful pictures of roses and also imagine the smell of roses. Am I right? So, through your imagination, you using your sense create some image. Yes, image, which are created in your mind through language. Involving all your sense is knowing as imagery. Or, in other words, imagery may be defined as the representation of sense experience through language. In imagery, writers use image to create mental pictures. Okay, there I have 5 types of imagery. 1. Visual image, that what we see. Second, auditory, what we hear. Third, tactile, what we touch or feel. 4. Gustatory, what we taste. And last, olfactory, what we smell. In this type of imagery, auditory describe what we hear, that music, silent and noisy. Visual describe what we see, like color, shape, pattern, and size. Tactile describe what we touch or feel, like textures, movement, temperature. Gustatory describe what we taste, like sour, sweet, acidic, bitter, and salty. And olfactory describe what we smell, like nice fragrance and bad odors. So, what we understand, imagery may be defined as the representation of sense experience through language. That's all. Bye-bye.
In conclusion, coping strategies can help athletes to reduce their stress level because when athletes have a stress day, they can use this coping strategies method to deal with the stressful situation, and it can manage their stress very well. It also can impact their ability to perform their best in the competition and in their life. Next, do application and practice are necessary? Yes, because if they want to manage their stress well, they need to practice the coping method. Because by practicing it, it can help them to improve their mental health. And by improve their mental health, it can also make them feel more better and not feeling stressed for a day. For my recommendation, these coping strategies will help the athletes in enhance their performance. Coping strategies such as imagery, breathing, and relaxation techniques can help athletes overcome obstacles and achieve their full potential. Next is athlete can cope with the pressures of competition. Sport psychologists can help athletes at all levels deal with pressure from parents, coaches, or even their own expectation.